Welcome back to FM Story. It's the run-in for our penultimate season, season 14 of this Save With Sporting, and things have gone exceptionally well so far. We're in the quarterfinal of the Champions League. We're in the semi-final with a 3-goal advantage of Portugal. We're in the final of the Allianz Cup, and we're one game away from securing the title. And what's more, we've done all of that by winning every single game this season. Can we keep that up till the end of the season? Can we keep that up to the end of the season? Let's find out. Without further ado, let's get straight into the act. We're approaching the end of April, and since the last episode, things have gone really quite well. Unfortunately, we no longer have our 100% record in all competitions. That's now gone by the wayside. We did manage to secure the title in the first game since the last episode, the 2-1 victory at home against Boavista. It was a bit of a struggle. We did eventually pull out a victory. We then went into the Champions League home to Dortmund, who have 4 of our former players in the squad. We went behind and struggled in the first half, but in the second half, we said a bit too much about us and came away with a 3-1 victory. We then went to Maritimo in the league, and it was a fairly comfortable victory without creating too much. And then, unfortunately, we went to Dortmund and lost 3-2 in the second leg. It did see us through 5-3 on 5-4 on aggregate. But we were really poor. We went 1 goal down, equalised. We then went 2-1 up with less than 5 minutes left, and I think the 100% record's there to stay. Then, unfortunately, Marcus Leonardo, our former centre forward that we signed in the first season, who scored so many goals for us, popped up with a goal to level it. And then, even worse, he broke free in injury time, shot, keeper carried up in the air, and Ronsa headed home to give them a 3-2 victory. So the 100% record's gone, but we are through to the semi-finals, where we play the team that have become a bit of our bogey team in the knockouts in recent seasons, in Inter Milan. The last twice we've played them in the knockout stage of the Champions League, we've had the first leg away from home. We've lost by 2 goals, and then we've won. We've gone 2-0 up in the home leg, and then ended up winning the home leg 2-1 to go out on aggregate. So hopefully, with the games being the other way around, the home game first, then the away game, hopefully that doesn't repeat itself and we can make it through to yet another Champions League final. I think we then picked up victories against Belenenses in the league away from home, and a comfortable victory in the second leg against Estoril of the Tax to Portugal semi-final, which means we won that 8-2 on aggregate, which means we've got a game against Porto in the final of the Tax to Portugal to come up. Obviously, up next, we've got the Allianz Cup final against Vitória Guimarães, so a chance to win another bit of trophy, and then we go straight into the semi-final of the Champions League against Inter. So hopefully we don't have suffered too many injuries or anything like that, and we can easily dispatch Vitória Guimarães before we have the danger of that game against Inter. So, Allianz Cup final, we went into the game against Vitória Guimarães. Obviously, we had to have 2 under-21 Portugal players. We went with 4 in the end. We went with Ferreira and Rosero, who've played every game of the competition, but we also rewarded Bengue and Barreto for their form in recent games when they've been in the team. And that meant Goossens played through the middle, just to take Botic out of the team, because although he scored a couple of goals in the last game, his form recently, by and large, hasn't been great. In the end, it was a pretty comfortable victory. As you got to see, 20 shots, 13 on target. We ended up with 6 goals. Some decent goals amongst them as well. The first of which, good pressure on the ball. Goossens wins it back. Barreto drives towards the box, squares it for Bengue to tap home, and immediately the 2 youngsters reward the place in the team. The second goal, Rosero played it into Hurdy, knocked it onto Goossens. It was reviewed for a possible offside, but he was onside. The third goal is a great goal by Hurdy. Gets the ball on the halfway line from Simovic, just drives forward and just smashes it into the bottom corner. Second half, we added a goal. Barrecho smashed it off the keeper. Bengue returns it to Mbappe, and that was 4-0. Asimovic with the throw. Davies did it into Ferreira, squares it for Bengue to get his second, to make it 5-0. And then later on, Mbappe got to the byline, dinked the ball up to the back post. Davies heads it in off the underside of the bar to secure a 6-0 victory. And that's our third trophy of the season. We've won the Super Tackle, we've won the league, we've now won the Allianz Cup. We've got the final of Tack to Portugal coming up against Porto at the end of May. And we're in the semi-finals of the Champions League as well. So there's still a chance we can pick up another 2 trophies. And then I think this summer we've got the Club World Cup as well. So potentially another 3 trophies before the players report for pre-season training the next season. So we made it to the final day of the season and we're in the Champions League final. It is the final day of the season. It got mixed up. The Club World Cup is next year. So that might actually be the last thing we do in the whole entire save. Or we may let them have a new manager take control of that. We'll see how we get on in season 15, which will be the final season of the save. We are playing Real Madrid in the final Champions League. So this is our 4th Champions League final. Of the previous 3, we've won 2, and both of the finals that we've won have been against Real Madrid. So hopefully that is a good sign going into the final. Since the Vitória Guimarães Allianz Cup final, we absolutely annihilated Inter. Well and truly did away with the hoodoo that they had over us. We beat them 8-1 at home in the first leg, and then beat them 4-0 in Milan in the second leg to come away with a really convincing 12-1 aggregate victory. Obviously, we'd already won the league, so we ended the season with 1 draw and 33 victories. We ended up with 100 points. We won the Tack to Portugal and technically drew the game, but won on penalties. And now we're going to this game against Real Madrid. Unfortunately, we do have some fairly serious injury problems. We lost Vitor Herdy and Maurice Goossens in the Tack to Portugal final. Maurice Goossens was only just coming back in that game and got injured straight away again. So they're both out. And hopefully the players that we bring into the team can step up and get us through the game and another Champions League victory. So this is the team we've gone in with for the Champions League final. It's about the best team we can pick. Gone with Barrecho in the number 10 role. Mbappe's come in instead of Herdy. It is going to be his last game of club football as well, retiring this summer. We are playing against a really good team. So we're going to need Barrecho and Mbappe in particular to step up into this team. Hopefully we can come away with a 3rd Champions League victory and a 3rd Champions League victory over Real Madrid as well. But definitely be a tough ask. They're going 4-1-4-1. They do have one of our former players there in Constantine Klim. Obviously we're going 4-2-3-1 with Rafael Placentia in front of the back 4. Right, so they've taken a short goal kick there. Can we nick the ball off them in a dangerous position, or are they just going to pass? Got it back, and Mbappe into Botic. He basically stood on the ball and let Costa come and get it. Now they're through. Oh, a lovely last ditch tackle. Hendrick with the corner for them. Celcinho comes and claims it. I mean, we could have scored and could have conceded in 30 seconds there. Not an awful lot happening since those early highlights. They've had a lot of shots though compared to us. Celcinho long looking for Botic. Mbappe picks it up. Simovic back to Kamara, who's lost out on ball. Why are they doing this in this game? They've not done any of this for most of the season, and now they're just dwelling on everything. Right, we've been so far from our best in that first half. The only highlight we had was a ball passed into the box that Voltage stood on. Otherwise, it's been all them. Right, we sent the same team out to start the second half. Hope we can get something from it. Placencia to Raul Rafael. Into Botic. Into Mbappe in the box. He gives it away, and now they're breaking. Oh my god. We weren't content with giving the ball away in their box in the first half. We've given the ball away on the edge of their box this time. They've gone straight up the other end and scored. This is not good. Right, throw in for them. Storey heads it clear. Oh my god, that could have been another. We need to get a grip on ourselves here. Alright, we've desperately thrown some players on in the last 10 minutes to see if we can get something out of this game, but happy with a free kick. Still alive. Oh, get the ball back in the box. They scrambled it clear. And we are really in desperate last chance saloons here. Suzuki wins it back. Hernandez goes long. Oh, right, we won it back. Suzuki, Bengi just lets it go. I think that's probably it now. Unless we can win it back from them, but I think they're probably going to. Right, Hernandez has got it. Goes long. Bengi into Rocky. No. Please tell me that's not offside. How have we got back? Long ball from Hernandez. Loads of space behind their left back. Bengi swings it across. Vitor Roque, who's had a poor season, manages to be in the right place at the right time. And we go to extra time. The first Champions League semi-final we played against Real Madrid went to extra time and we won on penalties. I'd rather not have the stress of penalties, to be honest. But somehow we managed to get back into this game. So we made one change. We made the final change to start extra time. Storey was knackered, so we brought Benavides on at the back. So far, nothing happening in extra time. Back with a free kick down the line to Benavides. Back to Soulard. We signed him nearly on deadline day, and has he popped up with possibly the biggest goal of the season? And Mbappe slides it down to Benavides. It looks like we've lost it when he comes back to Soulard, takes a touch, and then just spins it into the bottom corner from about 35 yards. We need to see out the second half. We've got them all set time waste. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite. They've gone long with the goal kick. Hernandez wins the header. Bengi gets it. Drives forward. Shoots from distance, but it goes over. Throw into us. Hernandez on the right hand side. Pereira. Hernandez gives it away. Benavides wins the header though. Pereira into Vitor Roque. Out to Asimovic on the left hand side. Mbappe, Asimovic. Soulard nearly had a second. 1 minute of injury time stands between us and another Champions League trophy. Oh. No. Kick him. Take your time. Lump the ball up front. I think given the season we've had in the Champions League, you have to say if we hadn't won the Champions League, it would have been a massive disappointment. We've lost one game, which was the second leg of the quarter-final against Dortmund. Otherwise, we've won every other game. We've set the record for the most goals scored in a Champions League campaign. And then we've picked up the third Champions League trophy, the Save, the second in the last 3 seasons. And we've ended this season with 5 trophies: Super Taca, the League, the Allianz Cup, Taca de Portugal, and now the Champions League. We won every trophy we were in. Can't get much better than that. And then we've got 1 season of the Save left. Season 15 is going to be the penultimate season. Can we go back to back in the Champions League? So now it's time for the end season review, and obviously we can see the 5 trophies that we've won there. In terms of new arrivals, we signed 2 players in summer. One very much a one for the future in Sebastian Moller, who basically didn't really get much game time this season. But then on deadline day, we picked up Ludovic Soulard from Chelsea for 78 million. And at times it's looked like it's taken him a while to adapt, because we were playing him out of position and trying to train him in that new position. But he ended the season with a decent average rating, and he's ended the season by winning us the Champions League with that screamer of a goal, which won goal of the season in the Champions League in extra time in the Champions League final. In terms of outgoings, obviously we lost Arda Güler when his contract expired. Diego Cabrera we let go largely because of Barreto coming through from the team, who was a brilliant understudy to Goossens. Tanguy Nyanzi had his time with us when he left. We got good money for Mohamed El Sahib as well. And then obviously we've sent a lot of players out on loan, some of which are going to get converted into permanent deals like that. Sami Abdullah one, we're going to get 35 million for. But yeah, not an awful lot of action either in or out of the transfer window this season, and probably won't be next season either, I don't think, for the last season to Save, but we'll see what we've got. So, as far as the league campaign's concerned, we got a B+, having dropped 2 points in the whole season. We ended with 100 points, 32 points clear of Porto. We were 44 points clear of Benfica, who finished in 6th. And it was the penultimate game of the season that we drew against Porto. Otherwise, we were on for that 100% record. Champions League did give us an A+. I mean, we lost 1 game, which was the away game against Dortmund in the quarter-final. We obviously drew the final, but won in extra time. But otherwise, we've been outstanding. Like, there's only 1, 2, 3 games where we didn't score at least 3. We annihilated Inter Milan 12-1 on aggregate in the semi-final. And obviously, it did look bad going into the final against Real Madrid with 2 of our best attacking players missing. But somehow, we dug ourselves out of a hole and ended up winning the game. Taca de Portugal, we won just standard. I mean, C+. It was pretty straightforward. Although we did have to go to penalties to win the final, but the route to the final was fairly straightforward. Allianz Cup. After the big disappointment last season where we didn't make it out of the group stage, which is the only time so far in the Save, really, really good to be back on a winning run there. Won every game comfortably. And then the Super Taca, really comfortable victory at the start of the season, 6-0 as well. So, yeah, just an outstanding season performance-wise. I mean, we beat Belenenses 9-0. The match to remember somehow is the away leg against Inter where we won 4-0, not the home leg where we won 8-1. I'm not quite sure about that one. And obviously the goal of the season is the goal that won us the Champions League, that goal at the end of the first half of extra time from Ludovic Soulard. Made a lot more money in prize money. We made over 30 million more this season than we did last season. And so how we've lined up, I think we've played the 4-2-3-1 in every game. this season. Cesar Hernandez probably wasn't actually the first choice of right back, although him and Bassioli swapped, and Cesar Hernandez did play quite a bit wide right as well. I'm surprised that it's him and not Bassioli that's in there. But other than that, the rest of the team basically picks itself. I mean, when you look at the attacking players, Suzuki, 24 assists, 13 goals. Goosens, 20 assists, 30 goals. Erdi, 23 assists, 29 goals. Botic, 8 assists, 41 goals. That's a big part of why we do what we've done this season. Obviously, you could throw Mbappe in there. He's probably not far off being in that picture either. And for him to still have been performing this season the way he's done, given that he's about to retire, has been outstanding. So, fans player of the season, Maurice Goosens. Benge was the young player of the season. He really impressed. Obviously, we said the goal of the season was Champions League final. And then competition-wise, so Goosens, Champions League player of the season and midfielder of the season. Traore was the African defender of the season. Miguel Ferreira won the next gen. Botic won the Golden Shoe. Leading goal scorer in the league. He actually won the Ballon d'Or and the Goal 50 as well, and the FIFA Best Men's Player and the World Soccer Magazine Player of the Year, and the Champions League Golden Boot. Yeah, just an outstanding season out there. And all 5 trophies we went into, we've picked up. It's going to make season 15 as the last season difficult season, because how do you match what we've done this season without going fully 100% the whole season, winning all 5 trophies, and then also adding the Club World Cup? But it's a tough ask, but we've got one more season left to go on the save. And there we have it, the end of another episode, the end of another season. One more season left to go. It's going to be difficult to live up to this season, but we'll give it a go. We've won 5 trophies this season. We've lost 1 game all season. Drawn 2. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.